children growing up, we master the art of crying. Whether we get a boo-boo, whether we spill our milk, whether we cry on demand, whether our mother decides to change the station from cartoons to the news. But in the big picture, we cry for nothing. The title of my story is Anansi and Nothing Go Hunting for Wives by Harold Corlander and George Herzog. It came to Anansi one time, as he was sitting in his little hut, that he needed a wife. But of course, Anansi was the most hated creature in the whole country. There was no way he could get a wife. Unlike Nothing, Nothing was the most beloved creature throughout the land. Every time Nothing would walk up, people would say, "There he comes." And every time Nothing would walk away, people would say, "There he goes." Nothing was the toast of the town, and he could easily get a wife. But of course, Anansi, he knew the only way he could get a wife was with Nothing's help. So one day, Anansi walked up the giant hill all the way up to Nothing's house. "So, Nothing," he said, "I can see that you're really lonely here with just your servants to occupy. Why don't you come with me to the city of Kumasi and we can go find a wife?" Nothing thought about this. I was thinking about getting a wife myself. All right, let's go." So the next day they met and walked to the city of Kumasi, Anansi and Nothing. But of course, Anansi was a trickster. He knew that the only way he could get a wife was by tricking Nothing. "Hey, Nothing," he said. I'm wearing this ugly shirt and sweatshirt, and you're wearing this beautiful shirt and beautiful cotton shirt. Why don't we just switch clothes, just for the fun of it? Come on, good laugh, right?" Nothing was intrigued by this offer. Well, in that case, you would be Nothing, and I would be Anansi. "Okay, why not? Why don't we do that?" So they switched clothes. Anansi was confident, and he could easily get a wife now, while Nothing looked poor. So Anansi and Nothing both walked to the city, and they finally get there. Anansi says, "I gotta meet my uncle somewhere for a quick message, but I'll catch you later, all right?" And Anansi fled, leaving Nothing by himself. Nothing just shrugged and went looking for a wife. It did not take Anansi long to find a wife. It took him 3 days to find a beautiful, smoking hot wife. As for Nothing, though, no one would give him a second chance, second look. He was a beggar. And of course, people didn't pay attention to beggars. But then this one old lady with her daughter came out and said, "Here, take my daughter. For we are poor, you could find more use out of her." So she just gave her daughter away to Nothing. And hand in hand, they walked back to Nothing's house. But of course, his wife, she was nice and all, but she was ugly. So as they're walking back, they heard a galloping in the distance. It was Anansi riding on a donkey, with his beautiful wife strapped to him. "Hey, Nothing, where you been, man? I've been looking all over for you." "Oh, that's a nice wife. So I'll catch you later, all right?" So he rode off into the distance with the donkey and the beautiful wife. But when Nothing came back to his hut, he was back to his old self, because his wife, although ugly, fell in love with him, because his house, of course, was the most beautiful house in the country. And the truth was revealed. Nothing was this handsome, rich man. But as for Anansi, things weren't going well for him. His wife left him for Nothing. After a few days, she got fed up with it and just left. Anansi decided to kill Nothing. So one night, he snuck up the hill over to Nothing's house, dug a pit, and then put sharp stakes at the bottom, and then got some grease, lined it from Nothing's house down to the pit, then grabbed some leaves and covered the hole. "Oh, Nothing," he said. "I have some business to talk to you about. Why don't you come out here?" Nothing was intrigued, of course, by Anansi's offer. He started to walk out, but then his wives were like, "No, please don't go. Anansi's a trickster. All he wants to do is get revenge on you." But Nothing didn't listen. He lit his torch, walked out there. "Yes, Anansi," before he finished his sentence, slipped and fell into the pit and died. Anansi fled. It was a sad, sad day in the city, as people all over the country came to honor Nothing's death. Everyone was very, very sad. And Nothing's wife was kind enough to make sweet yams and candies and pass them out to the children. And she begged the children to cry for her dead husband. And that is why today, when you ask children, what are they crying for? They say, for nothing.